alone is all that one needs to know where this dream belongs. It does not belong to history. It belongs to the future. It is going to become present truth. That's how it's written. As a matter of fact, as you go through the book of Daniel, you will see present truth each time over and over and over again. Latter days. And finally, in chapter 12, which is the last chapter of Daniel's book, the angel Michael says to him, Daniel, shut up the words and seal your book even till it's locked up. It's sealed up. It may be read but not comprehended. That's where we've been. You, me, churches, that's where we've been. I believe that this guy with golden hair is an announcement to the watchers, to the wise, it says in Daniel 12. The wise will understand. In Daniel 2, you are this head of gold. But after you, you're not the end of this matter. But after you, another shall rise, inferior to your rule, your kingdom, your authority, as silver is inferior to gold. Would you like to see it? There he is, right there. That's an actual photograph. Gray hair. An insult. They don't put that on the evening news, by the way, right now. I want you to see something. This is the gist. This is the heart. This is the heart of the dream. You're this head of gold, but you ain't going to be around forever. Now, I could spend time in Daniel 3. That's the fiery furnace. But I want to come to Daniel 4, and I'm coming to Daniel 4 because the same guy is being given another dream. And it is so impressive. It has made such an impression on him that he actually opens Daniel chapter 4 by saying, I'm writing this. I am addressing this to you. I am writing this. Because the great God of Daniel, the God who controls, the God who rules, has given me another dream. And there's a great tree. I submit to you that the head of gold, Babylon, represents the United States of America in the end. I submit to you that the great tree and the description of the great tree represents the United States of America at the end. You are this great tree. It spreads until it nearly fills the earth. The beasts of the field are fed, the birds of the air are fed, and all men are fed. The great tree, you are this great tree, O king. The great tree is cut down. Now, according to the vision or the dream given to the king, it is at the end of 12 months that this tree is cut down. I need to back up and get the lion out of the picture. The great tree is cut down. What is the occasion of cutting down the great tree? What does it mean to be cut down? Cut it down. Cut off its limbs, its branches. Strip it of its leaves. Its fruit scatter. Let the beasts of the field and the birds of the air flee. And let the men who have been feasting and flourishing under the tree, let them flee. What was the occasion of cutting it down? something happens at the end of 12 months. I was flourishing in my palace. And by the way, I looked up palace in the original right there. It says the great house of the people. I was flourishing in my palace. And I said, is not this great Babylon? Let's make America what?
Great.
Is not this great Babylon which I have built? And at that very instant, if you read it, at that very instant, word was given to the watchers, and they were commanded by the holy ones to cut down or hew down the tree. Break off its branches, scatter its fruit. 12 months. Wow. I want to go on. We're going to expand on this. In Daniel chapter 7, we have a transition. Here we have two dreams. In Daniel 7 and Daniel 8, where we're going, we have two visions. The two dreams are given to an earthling, to Nebuchadnezzar. The two visions are given to Daniel. So in Daniel chapter 7, I saw four great beasts. I saw the four winds of heaven striving upon the great sea. Four beasts, four great beasts, diverse one from another, came up out of the sea. The first was like a lion with eagle's wings. Had the heart of a lion. But something happened. Something happened. A command was given to pluck the eagle wings from the lion and pull the lion's heart out and put the heart of a man in. The eagle wings are plucked. The lion's heart is plucked. You can check that out in the original if you want, but it's broken, shattered, cut asunder. I submit to you that this and this and this are talking about the same power. And let's look at number 4. In Daniel chapter 8, we have the ram with two horns. And we've been through this so many times in the last 20, 30 years together. The ram with two horns represents, according to Gabriel, Iran and Iraq. Used to say Iraq and Iran. There was a time it was Iraq first and Iran second. But the second horn grows up, displaces the greatness or the power or the strength or the authority of the first horn. Still there. So Daniel sees in vision this ram pushing, bullying, and nobody can stop him. Somebody's feeding him plane loads of cash. Oh. I watched, and this ram is pushing, and he's pushing south and north and west, and he makes someone angry westward. And what I saw, Daniel says, as he describes the picture, he says, I saw a rough goat. Some translations read a he-goat, strong. Well, how can we identify this rough goat? Well, first of all, he's in the west. And when he gets angered and comes, he comes across the face of the whole earth, and he touches not the ground as he comes. And on the side of his plane it says B2, you know. All right, I'm watching you. I'm looking for you. Let's go back to a fellow by the name of Joseph. He's a good guy. Good guys always pay. And Joseph paid for sins that he did not commit. I mean, he was foolish to sit at the breakfast table and tell Dad and his brothers, all of whom were older than himself. He was young, he was a greenhorn, he was inexperienced. And so he sat at the breakfast table and he said, I had a dream last night. All of you were bowing down to me. And they were happy at the breakfast table. Now, all of this is played out as you keep reading the story. It's recorded in Genesis. All of this is played out. The brothers have gone off to take care of the flocks. They're away from home. Dad wants a report. He takes baby brother Joseph. And he says, I want you to go find your brothers. I want you to take grilled cheese sandwiches to them. And I want you to bring me a report. Boy, what a report. It took 30 plus years for the report to get back. Did you hear what the brothers said as they saw Joseph off in a distance? Yonder comes that dreamer. Joseph paid for the sins of his brothers. I don't know who Joseph represents, do you? I mean, it appears that all is lost. As a matter of fact, the record is, and Joseph was 30 years of age when he began to serve Pharaoh. You know the story, don't you? He's locked up in prison. Egyptian prisons are wonderful places to behold. And God gives Nebuchadnezzar, Pharaoh. God gives this pagan heathen king dreams. We need to have a conversation with God when we get to heaven. He needs some advice. You should choose better folk. So he gives Pharaoh a dream. And then he gives Pharaoh a second dream. And he won't let Pharaoh sleep. He can't find peace of mind. I've got to know what this means. Well, there's a guy in jail over there, in prison over there, and he interprets dreams. Bring him. Now, the present end of that story is that Joseph explains to the king, you've had two dreams. And because the dream was doubled to the king, are you listening? Come on, I want you to finish the verse. Because the thing was doubled to the king, therefore it is what? Sure, it's certain. This is what I found just a few days ago. How many dreams? How many visions? Double. Just double is enough. But double means what? This is the focal point. There are points, but this is the focal point of the book of Daniel. This great power, there's never been anything like it in human terms. This great power is coming down. And you and I shall be so glad that we are not living in this great power when it comes down. from dizzying heights to groveling in the grass with the rest of the donkeys out there. God is trying to tell the world, when you see this, the time has come. The time, I believe with everything in me that this time has come. We are weeks and months at best from the United States of America bankrupting. Now, we'll show you that in the noon recess. And it's not one or two people. It's scores of experts, historians, financial people, political powers. They're all saying we're coming down. Why can they say that? Because the lesson of history is any nation, any kingdom, any house divided against itself cannot stand, shall not stand. It's a decree of the watchers and the holy ones. Now, one of the DVDs that I'm going to give you today is called The Blessed Curse. I shared it several years ago. That's the thing about this material. It's never out of date. The Blessed Curse. And when you get home, I want you to watch it. First one. The Blessed Curse. This is about to happen. So let's go on here. And I've introduced this section with this headline, Pure Guesswork. This is my disclaimer. Pure guesswork. Charles Wheeling discusses Daniel chapter 4, and at the time we're picking it up, there's only 9 months left until a collapse. Those 4 powers representing the collapse of the great power. In October, before the election took place, I came under conviction that I know who's going to win. The golden-haired kid. The non-politician politician. The billionaire. That's who's going to win. The guy with the head of gold. And the head is not just on the outside. It's what's inside as well. He thinks in big golden terms. So back in October of 2016, last year, before the election is to take place in November, I said, I know who's going to win. And I made my first prediction that Donald Trump is going to win this election. We're going to have Trump for president. And I said so. I went on record. And then I said this, I sure hope it's not true. I hope everything I'm going to say, everything that I think, everything that I am surmising is wrong, incorrect, and it's not going to happen. I'll be the happiest man on the block. I don't care what people call me. If this stuff is true, if this stuff is real, if there is any present truth in it, whoa, we've got 12 months. So the election took place the 8th of November. And of course, everyone in the country thought Donald Trump is going to win. Did he become president November 8th? No, he did not. But Trump, contrary to public opinion, won. Good guess. The inauguration date was January 20 of 2017. Trump, contrary to public opinion, and it's still opinion, became president. There was joy in the streets. No, there was rioting in the streets. Yeah. Trump, contrary to public opinion, became president. Good guess. I submit to you that the 12 months began right there. Right there. Now, the financial world was just ripping and roaring as soon as Trump was voted to be president and inaugurated. Rumors from everywhere said he's going to crash the markets. You see, he's going to bring us all down. Trump markets, contrary to public opinion, went. I said, the markets are not going to go down. They're going to go up. They're going to go up, 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 up. Because this guy has a head of good guess. More predictions. We're moving to March. We've got 9 months up here. And in March, at the end, close of March, I said, we're going to start having increasing tensions between the USA and Iran. Almost to the day, the news began heating about relations between the Trump administration and Iran. We're going to put new and harsh sanctions on. We're going to do this. We're going to stop them from their nuclear experimentation, and on and on and on. Increasing tensions was my prediction at the midpoint in March. Increasing tensions between the USA and Iran. And I know you probably don't follow the news every day, but I do. Good guess. One, two, three, four. We're 3 or 4 months into this. 3 months from 12 is how many? So we posed the question in March, 9 months to go, is it possible that the United States of America, the mightiest, most powerful, wealthiest nation in the history of mankind, could be broke in 9 months? From March, we're going to drop 2 more months. We go May and June. Only 7 months until a collapse. It's a question mark. I said, if there's anything to this at all, there's going to be a change in the circulating currency. That's what Ellen White wrote 100 years ago, change in the circulating currency. This is not of the devising of God. It is a device of Satan for the last days. Testimonies to Ministers 3:31. I said, watch, May, June, there will be a change in the U.S. circulating currency. We're going to have some new money, guys. This is not of the devising of God, the changing of the circulating currency. It is one of the devil's schemes. I thought those who believed the truth would not be deceived in the least degree. Now there's a caution that she puts in here. She says, I thought God's people would keep themselves aloof from political entanglements. That's why I went out of my way to say to you, this is not about politics. This is about prophecy. We have to be very careful taking sides. My suggestion is the gravity of this event will hardly be recognized by the majority, but bankers, statesmen, and historians will understand this event will, I believe, be a global announcement of the New World Order, the rise of the beast of Daniel chapter 7. 10 plus years ago, the international bankers and politicians concluded that we cannot, as a world, of business. We cannot continue to do business as usual. Why not? Because the up and coming economies of the world saw that the United States was giving people paper money, just ink on paper, and calling it money. But automobiles and computers and all the rest of it is real stuff. And they told the United States in no uncertain terms, we're not going to take your funny money anymore. You gotta, it's gold, silver, it's real. So the terminology that was chosen and is used to this point right now is that the world, the nations of the world in international commerce must deal in asset-backed currencies. Asset-backed currencies. Asset-backed, what does that mean? Gold, silver, oil, corn. If you're going to do $300 billion worth of business with me, a la China to the U.S., in a year, I want gold. I want silver. I want oil. Ooh, I really shouldn't open my mouth on that, but I probably will before the day is over. Asset-backed currency. So 10 years ago, this decision was made at the World Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, the BIS it's called in Switzerland. On and on and on, the decision was made, and votes were taken among the nations. The United States very reluctantly said, we will sign on, we'll go back, we'll deal with Congress, and we'll agree. Liar, liar, pants on fire. We refused to do what we told the rest of the world we would do for 10 years. 10 years. Things got hotter and hotter under the collar. I mean, if you really knew what was flying around behind closed doors, you'd faint and fall over. Well, the United States was pushed at the annual Davos meeting, Davos, Switzerland. The United States was pushed. And to add to the push, they sent the Pope over here to speak to Congress and say, pay your bills. Now, you thought it was just a good guy flying around. The world has united itself against us, U.S. Are you listening? They have told us in no uncertain terms, we're shutting you out. We're not going to do business with you anymore. You're talking Walmart. You're talking Amazon. You're talking all the department stores. You're talking about all the stuff we do and we buy on credit. And our credit ain't no good because our money ain't no good. And so it was decided just a few weeks ago, it was agreed upon a few weeks ago, that on this date, we will demand asset-backed currencies for anyone and everyone who is joining international trade. What?
What date is that?
Well, I should have looked it up and remembered, but just a few weeks ago, China announced to the world that they were going gold-backed. All right? Russia announced we're going. India announced. Brazil announced. The BRICS countries announced. It's gone now. And the United States has to put up or shut up. The party is over. So I'm predicting, I'm guessing, I'm predicting that before